I'd consider being a Christian if it weren't, well, for Christians. You know, the worst thing about Christianity is its followers. Sentiments like these seem to be gaining ground on YouTube. Or at least I'm just now taking notice of how many people say things like this. My first inclination when I see a video or even a text comment that has this sentiment is to apologize and maybe refocus these people's attention to the one that we serve, the one who has no hypocrisy, the one that is sinless, the one that is perfect. And the reason I feel that way is I've been let down. Not just by my Christian neighbor or some guy professing to be a Christian on YouTube, but by some real close people in my life and in leadership positions. So let me apologize to all of you who have been let down by a hypocrite. On behalf of all the Christians that have ever done that to you, including myself, I am sorry. I'm truly grieved that we have caused you in some way to either reject the faith completely or caused you to stumble. Please look at who we follow, not what we do. But I do want to point out a couple of things that I think are ironic. And I made notes here. I hope you forgive me for kind of reading. This was just too important to me to ad-lib the whole thing. And know that these notes were written by me, so the sincerity of them is not diminished just because I'm reading a little bit. First of all, realize the full gambit of Christians. We have some that are very mature, some that are very immature, and even some that claim to be in our camp that are not. Scripture even warns that there will be those calling on the Lord, 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 claiming that they were His, and God's response will be, "Depart from me, for I never knew you." So be careful when you think you're dealing with a Christian that has let you down. Now, I'm not saying that they're not. I know that I've been let down by actual Christians, but also know that there are those out there that don't understand what Christianity is, and they call themselves a Christian without the full knowledge of what that truly means. In fact, I was in that very camp at one point, but for time-saving sake, I'll make that another video. I thought for almost 20 years that I was a Christian before I truly understood the significance of Christ, and that's another story, so we're going to save that. But let me talk to you about my 2 points of irony that I see with this topic. Number one, I realize to see this part of irony requires that you atheists have to engage in the what-if game for a second. Because your contention is that there is no afterlife, there is no judgment. But what if there is? The first part of the irony is that you're going to be sitting in front of God, giving an account of your life, as we will all have to do. And He'll ask you, why didn't you accept His Son, the one He sent to you? And is your answer really going to be because the Edge 012 or Christopher L or Cajun Punk or Guam or Johnny Christian next door was a hypocrite and you saw flaw with them? Maybe that will be your answer, but my question back to you is, do you think that will fly with the big guy? I think we're all accountable for our own actions. Point two, and perhaps the most important. The real irony is this. God sent Christ to us for the very reason that we are all hypocrites and unable to follow his law of perfection. You see, this is a pass-fail test. You cannot score a 99% and still make the cut. And all of us have failed the test. The only other choice is to rely on the one who did make the cut and have him vouch for you. So please accept my apology. I totally get where you're coming from. Unfortunately, I'd have to apologize today, tomorrow, the next day, the next week, the next year, the next century, if I had to apologize every time a Christian was being a hypocrite. So let me leave you with this thought. I fully acknowledge that the church is full of sinners and hypocrites. But we always have room for one more. Won't you join us?